Hey y'all, Billy and the Homestead Honey. Yeah, here we are out in the greenhouse again. Hey, before we get hopping and popping on this, I want to remind you, this Saturday, April 15th, Asheville, North Carolina, farm where you live. We're going to be there, but more importantly, the pimp daddy of Polyface, Joel Salatin himself, is going to be there, and that is worth the price of admission alone. Remember, we got links down below. Just use promo code PERMA, get 10% off. All right, so here we are doing one of her favorite activities, and honestly, it's been growing more and more on me. This is more her realm where she handles 99.9% of it, but because we cross-train ourselves, or we cross-train each other in the certain things that we're really good at to the other people around here, this is where I'm coming into play, where she's going to give the orders, and I'm going to follow, like I, always do, for some reason. Anyway, yeah, there was a little sound down below. So, honey, what are we doing today?
So today we're gonna start our sweet potato slips. But this is the first year I've ever started growing our own slips. I've just bought in the previous years. But first we're gonna broad fork the bed, and then we're gonna get our slips started.
Now, part of the reason for broad forking in this particular bed and some of the others is that last year we talked about it where we made a colossal mistake, and we were in a rush, like so many of us do, got some of that bag stuff, turned out to be junk, and then we remediated it with some of the compost we made. So just for GP, this is probably going to be the last time we ever have to till around here, or anything close to tilling. So we're going to broad fork this time, and then we're going to move on to the next step. All right, y'all, the Homestead Honey's in there getting her workout for the day. She won't let me touch that thing, but here's what I wanted to point out to you. Right now is one of those times where we have the rotation of the chickens around the bees. They'll hit them about 3 times a year. The sheep went through first, knocked down everything. But I wanted you to see this because the bees, the mites, all the other things out there that want to attack those bees, those chickens are going after it. The bees don't hurt the chickens, and the chickens don't hurt the bees. In fact, like I said before, you can drop a whole bunch of dead bees in front of them chickens. They won't eat it. Perfect symbiosis. So, once again, y'all, problem is the solution. We don't have a beetle or mite problem. We got a lack of chickens problem. So let's go back inside and see what time it is.
All right, we've got a white variety of sweet potatoes and an orange variety. The next step is just to dig a trench 6 inches deep, and then we're going to put our sweet potatoes in.
Now, for those out there that are looking at how to do this, we talked about it last year, and I think also the year before, that if you want a good reference manual, go check out the one that Danny did down at Deep South Homestead. We're changing just a couple of things up because we hit this thing with compost already. So Michelle's going to go ahead and go through that while she's digging that out. Look, y'all, I'm going to talk about something else entirely. We talked about those seeds from Heaven's Harvest, and they're wonderful. We'll do another update. By every measurement we're seeing so far, it looks like 100% germination so far. But the things they don't include in seed kits like that are exactly what we're looking at right now. Things like sweet potatoes, things like some of your crops that can store a long, long time. These have been around since last year. Could we have eaten them? Yeah, we did. We canned a whole lot of them too. There's also some in the freeze dryer. A lot of this stuff, y'all, I don't need to keep going on and on about how bad things are and what the situation looks like in this world, but this is one of the many means, and this is why we've taken time, instead of talking strictly of animal systems, we started talking about how we're planting. Maybe we don't have all the answers, because I know that we don't. Maybe we provide a few. Maybe we're, re-emphasizing things that other people have already done. Either way, right now, look at the signs of the times, and strongly consider growing your own food and things like this where you're growing your own slips to make a ton more sweet potatoes, because Lord knows we need them. This soil is a lot better than that last one. Just pulled a couple myself. Here's another one right here. All right, y'all, just a little something else I'm going to point out. And I want to give a hat tip to my friend out at Earthship. His name is Will. Kind of got me more centered into some of the things that I seldom think about, because there can be a point where you're too pragmatic. One of those things is grounding. I know some people are going to say it's hogwash. Some are going to say it's pseudoscience. Well, let me just tell you this. If you have good soil and you have good life in your soil, there's a whole lot going on in that soil. It's not just your earthworms. It's your nematodes, arthropods, your bacteria, your fungi, all those things that should be happening in enormous abundance. And as time goes by, we're going to talk more about that. But the point that I'm getting at, there's also another added benefit that when you're putting your hands in here, despite the fact that I got 2 Band-Aids on my hand right now, got a little injured punching a punching bag, but that's another story altogether. But the point being is when you physically touch this stuff, whether it's with your feet, with your hands, whatever it is, you're getting a real deal interaction with the earth. And you'll find out that in days when you do this stuff, where you do ground yourself intentionally, or whether it's walking around barefoot or putting your hands in the soil, you're interacting with all those beneficial microbes, if provided you do have beneficial microbes in your soil, and you're also grounding yourself. And I think you honestly sleep better. I really do. So get out there as often as you can. Maybe walk around barefoot or put your hands right down in the soil. It'll get you all there.
All right, so I've taken the orange varieties and I've already stuck them in the trench here on this side, and you can tell some of them are growing already. And then we're just going to take the white variety and put them in the trench on that side.
I don't see no black ones up in here.
All right, we've got our sweet potatoes in the trench. We're going to cover them up, and it'll take about 30 to 40 days for the slips to grow. And then when they're grown, we're going to come back and cut them off and plant the slips.
Now, why don't you tell everybody what slips actually are? Because people that are new, we have record numbers tuning in and learning this lifestyle right now. So why don't you give them a, kind of what for as far as what a slip is?
So a slip is just how sweet potatoes reproduce. This is like a slip. So it's just plant growth that's growing from the sweet potato, and you're going to come in, you're going to let it get like about a foot tall. You're going to come in and just cut it off, and there's going to be roots that are growing at the bottom of the plant, and you're going to plant that slip, and it's going to grow sweet potatoes.
And if you want to see, step by step, I mean, from professionals that really know what time it is on some sweet potatoes, once again, get that manual at Deep South Homestead, and they got tons of videos on how to do this yourself. And I can't think of a more consequential time to know how to do these things. All right, we ready to cover them up?
Yep.
Now, you're going to find these things from time to time, and we got a lot of volunteers that we found in other places too, where we're pulling potatoes up out of here from last year. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's like getting money from home without writing. So, look, y'all, I'm going to say it one more time and highly encourage. There's a lot of people out there, especially in the homestead realm, that have kind of leaned into the doom and gloom. And in all honesty, I don't shy away from those things. I really don't. But for every bad thing, I'm going to tell you at least 2 good things. So if you notice, I haven't spent a whole lot of time telling you bad things. What I'm trying to point out right now is if there was ever a time in the United States of amnesia to think about growing your food, it's now. And once again, like everybody else, I'm going to encourage you, highly encourage you to do that. Now, once again, if you want to know and get some of these tools and talk to the people that have been at this a very long time, you got an opportunity this weekend at the Farm Where You Live festival. Like I said, April 15th, information's down below. Also, if you want to learn how to process pigs, probably the last time I'm going to do it this year is going to be really at the end of April, beginning of May. That information is also down below. Look, this is the time to get this information. The worst time to buy insurance is after, you needed the insurance. So, on behalf of the Homestead Honey, this is Billy from Perma Pastures Farm, where permaculture is my passion. Guess what? It's hers too. We'll see you next time.